You'll never take me alive! Time to go. Oh no. Oh no! There really is no escape! What is up, everybody? RandomRandomMan here, bringing you my review for No Escape, which stars Owen Wilson, Lake Bell, Sterling Jarens, Claire Gear, and is directed by John Eric Dowdle. Now, the plot follows an American family in their new overseas home, where they soon find themselves in the middle of a politically violent uprising where they frantically have to find a safe escape in an environment where foreigners are being immediately executed. Now, I was able to catch this movie at an early free screening for it, which sounded cool because this film doesn't come out for another week or so. And I was a little bit interested in the concept because it sounded like World War Z, which I really liked, but without the zombies in place with politically violent rebels. And I was also a bit intrigued to see how Owen Wilson would handle action movies, as he almost never does these. But I had my expectations in reserve because of the director. I am not a fan of some of his previous work, such as Quarantine, which is the very uninspired American remake of the superior Spanish horror film Wreck. And he also directed Devil, which I really didn't like. But is this movie an improvement on the other director's work? Let's run down the whole thing. Like I've said before, Owen Wilson really doesn't do action movies, but I particularly found him to be quite good in this role. For the beginning of this film, he really seemed like a likable guy. He seemed like the type of dude that would bring his family overseas to start a new life or for his new job, and they all seem pretty likable on their own fronts. I liked Lake Bell as the wife, and Sterling Jarens and Claire Gear do play the young daughters of this couple, and, you know, since they're young, you might find them annoying at first because, well, they're just that. They're young, and it's a little hard to adjust to a new home if you move so far out across the sea. That being said, however, like Wilson's character, these people are likable at first. So yes, this movie involves an American family in the middle of this violent event in this unspecified Asian country and them trying to escape. And the opening scene of this film does involve the initial trigger of what sets up these events to happen later on. And once we do see Owen Wilson witness the first moments of the government and the civilians from clashing, the movie goes really taking turns for the worst. But it takes not only the concept that had a lot of potential, it takes these characters, the family that were initially set up to like as well, and puts them in appallingly stupid moments. Some of the decisions that these characters make really make them stupendously ignorant and just on the very brink of death at almost any given time. One example of this is that the rebels are trying to kill these people and a bunch of other Americans or foreigners in this country. And Owen Wilson has a plan to jump across a building and have his wife run across it first and then have him bring his daughters over to the other side. What happens, I cannot explain without just bringing disgust, because Owen Wilson, after Lake Bell is across the building, he picks up his daughters and hurls them across the gap. Let that sink in. He hurls them across a gap. And, you know, naturally, the Lake Bell's character does catch him, but when Wilson throws his older daughter, you know, she's just plain stupid and almost gets both of them killed because she doesn't want to get tossed across, and they're dangling on the edge, and they eventually go back, but Wilson throws them. I cannot believe that. That just had me just shocked and my jaw to the floor because of how ridiculous that is. But that leads into the action. As the movie is shot, its cinematography is used to treacherous measures as, yes, the movie has a tendency to obscure the camera, shaking it, but also using close-ups. And this movie has a pretty short attention span. What do I mean by that? Well, it likes to cut at almost every frame. And this doesn't just apply to the action. It applies to just people walking or running or doing whatever. It cuts every other frame. And the action, yeah, again, it is like very close, very obstructed, and it also loves to use this speed up, slow down kind of thing where, let's say a character is running at regular pace. Then it slows down like, then it speeds up again. That got annoying. One absurd plot twist after another keeps happening. And the reason why these rebels and this political uprising is happening is glossed over for a brief moment, but it's never believable in the slightest in how Wilson's character is involved, because he just so happened to be there and the plot allowed itself to go like that. And it just goes on, and it felt so long for about an hour and 40 minutes. And my God, I just did not believe this ending in the slightest. It first began with this very anticlimactic moment, and then it continued to this very forced and very unacceptably bad ending that would have reality laughing at it, as in real life it would not go down like how it went in this movie. This movie had such a problem balancing what it wanted to be as an action and horror film at times. This director has done horror films before, and it did feel scary at times because it could happen in real life, but with the terrible dialogue, which I forgot to mention, these characters spit out just stupid lines, the characters that are horrendously realized in their decisions, and the action that is just not even enjoyable to watch amidst all the chaos with these characters, it just makes this movie not just bad, but really bad. I am not kidding around. It's bullshit. My final thoughts on this movie are that horrifically shot action and absurd plot twists make it unbearable. The only good thing I have to say about this film is that Owen Wilson and his family are likable at first before the uprising happens, but once it does occur, the writing is just utterly atrocious with how these characters stupidly act, the dialogue they have to speak, and just where the movie goes at any given moment, with the action being shot to pure and utter crap, pacing that is unbearable to make this movie longer than it is, and just culminating in a film that is really one of the worst action movies I have seen in recent memory. And I'll say this right now, it is now by far the worst movie I have seen in all of 2015. I highly recommend that you stay away from this movie and do not watch it, as it should be avoided. Avoid, avoid, avoid. My final verdict for No Escape is 1/2 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of No Escape, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.